They told me college would be the best years of my life, and for a while, I believed it. When I got that scholarship offer in the mail, the one with the university crest and the words, "Congratulations, we are pleased to offer you a full ride to play Division I basketball," I thought the universe had finally validated everything I'd worked for. I wasn't the most gifted kid in my district, but I was the one who stayed late at the gym, who shot free throws until my hands bled, who ran wind sprints after practice when everyone else had gone home. That letter made it feel like it had all been worth it. My parents cried when I showed them. My high school coach shook my hand and told me I earned it. It felt like I'd done something remarkable, like I'd made it. Freshman year was dizzying in the best way. The gear drops, the structured schedules, the first time stepping onto the court wearing our school colors in front of thousands of fans, it was surreal. I wasn't a starter, but I got minutes here and there. My name wasn't in headlines, but I was part of it. The machine, the program, and it felt important. The athletic director gave speeches about legacy. Upperclassmen warned us, "This is D1, it's a job." And I nodded like I understood even though I didn't. Not yet. We were ushered into a life that was regimented down to the minute. Wake up at 5:30 a.m., practice from 6 o'clock to 8:30, shower, grab a protein shake from the training table, and be in class by 9 o'clock. After lectures we had lift sessions or team film, then mandatory study hall hours, then maybe a walkthrough or individual drills, dinner at the athletic facility, lights out by midnight if you were lucky. I remember thinking, so this is the price of greatness. But I wasn't great. I was solid, average, maybe slightly above, reliable. I hustled, played good defense, boxed out hard, took charges, but I wasn't flashy. I wasn't going to dunk over a guy and make it onto SportsCenter. And that's where things started to feel different for me than for some of my teammates. Because when NIL hit, it hit hard. Suddenly, the stars were signing deals. $10,000 for posting about an energy drink, $15,000 for wearing a local brand on Instagram. One of our starters had a six-figure deal with a national brand before conference play even started. And me? I was lucky if someone slid into my DMs asking me to promote their protein powder in exchange for a free tub. But even that fell through when they found out I wasn't a starter. There's this hierarchy in college sports and NIL widened it. The top guys got brand managers, new sneakers, photo shoots. Meanwhile, I was still using my meal plan to ration enough calories to maintain weight during the season. We all wore the same jerseys, but off the court it felt like we were playing different sports entirely. No one tells you what it feels like to give everything you have, your body, your time, your mental health, and still feel invisible. You can be doing all the same workouts, going through all the same pain, but if your stats don't pop, you're background noise. Coaches call you dependable, which is code for not a game changer. The media ignores you. Even the fans barely remember your name unless you're in their classes. And yet, the pressure is exactly the same. You're still held to the same standards. Coach doesn't care that you're not the face of the program. If you mess up a rotation, if you're a half-second slow on a help read, you're in the film room getting chewed out with the same intensity as the guy with 200K followers. Maybe worse, because the star player has leverage. You don't. I remember one practice where I turned the ball over during a fast break drill. Coach blew the whistle, stormed over and screamed, "This is why you'll never play meaningful minutes," in front of the whole team. I felt my stomach drop. I kept my face straight, but inside I was unraveling. No one stepped in, not the assistants, not my teammates. They just looked away. Because everyone knew, if it wasn't you, it could be them. After that day, I started to question everything. I'd stay after practice and shoot extra, trying to prove myself even though no one was watching. I'd study film late into the night, looking for any edge, any way to stand out, but nothing changed. I was still 10th in the rotation, still the guy who came in for a defensive possession at the end of the half, still invisible. Sophomore year came with more minutes but less joy. I'd wake up and feel like I was putting on a mask just to survive. We were taught to be mentally tough, which basically meant suffer in silence. You don't talk about burnout. You don't admit you're overwhelmed. You don't say you're jealous of the guys getting NIL checks while you're juggling class, weights, practice, and mental breakdowns with nothing to show for it but shin splints and a decent plus-minus rating. My grades started slipping. Not from laziness, but from exhaustion. I'd fall asleep in 400-level sociology lectures, wake up with drool on my notebook. I stopped going out, stopped calling home. I told myself, just get through the season. Then it became, just get through the semester. Eventually it turned into, just get through today. By junior year, I was numb. That was the year I hit my wall. We were one win away from the conference championship, and coach gave me 5 minutes of playing time in the entire tournament. After the final loss, while the stars cried on camera and fans packed the exits, I sat at the end of the bench and stared into the hardwood. I didn't cry. I didn't feel anything. It was like I wasn't even there. After the game, coach pulled me aside and said, "You've been good for morale. You make the guys better in practice. Keep doing what you're doing." I forced a nod, but those words gutted me. Good for morale. I wasn't a player to him. I was a body, a prop, a supporting character in someone else's success story. That spring, I started seeing a therapist. Quietly. I told no one. On the surface, I still showed up, did the drills, kept the locker room loose. But inside, I was falling apart. I began writing again. Journal entries, poems, even letters I never sent. I had to get the noise out of my head somehow. I needed a space where I wasn't just jersey number 24, just a kid trying to figure out who the hell he was. Senior year rolled in like fog, quiet, heavy. The freshmen looked up to me, called me vet, asked for advice. I gave it, even though I felt like I had none. I kept showing up, kept doing the dirty work, took pride in being the guy who dove for loose balls, who celebrated the team even when I wasn't on the floor. It wasn't the role I dreamed of as a kid, but it was the role I had. When the final buzzer of my final game sounded, I walked off the court and didn't look back. No tears. Just this strange, bitter clarity. I wasn't going pro. No NIL deals, no scouts waiting, just a graduation gown, a half-updated LinkedIn profile, and a resume that said, team player in bold because I didn't know what else to put. The post-grad silence was loud. No more 6 a.m. alarms, no more team meetings, no more purpose. I applied for entry-level jobs and struggled to answer basic interview questions. Tell me about a time you showed leadership, I wanted to scream. You mean besides every damn day for the last 4 years? I drifted for a while. Bitter, angry, resentful. The NCAA had used me up. I gave them 4 years of my life, and in the end, it felt like I left with nothing but calloused hands and student debt. But healing came slowly, through writing, through honest conversations, through finally admitting, yeah, that shit was hard, without minimizing it. I began volunteering at a local youth center, mentoring high school athletes, telling them the truth, not to scare them, but to prepare them. I told them, you're more than a highlight reel. Don't forget that. Now I look back with a complicated kind of gratitude. Being a student athlete didn't make me rich, it didn't make me famous. But it did teach me how to endure, how to show up even when you're unseen, how to do the right thing even when no one claps. I used to think being average was a curse. Now I see it differently. I was never the star, but I showed up, I fought, I finished. And that means something, even if the world doesn't always notice. Being a student athlete sucks sometimes, but it also shapes you in ways you don't understand until the gym lights go off, and all you're left with is who you really are. And I'm proud of who I've become.